that's how we like to start. So, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of this week's name is staying. It's the Gottfrieds on the podcast thing, or where you can find it on YouTube and stuff. But I think my sister and I, we were thinking about the Uncastables was one of the names we came up with.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a special week. I appreciate everybody that's watched the first 3 episodes. It's been unbelievable just to have, I thought if just one person reached out and said, hey, I was inspired, or hey, I could relate to your story, I would have been happy. Well, a little bit more than one reached out. And so it was just a blessing. And if that's where it all stopped, and it was only 1, 2, 3, 4 people that were impacted in a positive way from just a couple videos that we've put out there, then I'm proud of that and I'm thankful. And
Sure.
That's all you could ever ask for. And that's all it was ever about, was just putting out a positive message. So I wanted to take it. The first week was really down to earth and like a story. I gave you guys the story of like my work history and some of the things that I overcame as a youngster growing up, and some of the things that I accomplished in business and in my jobs. That was a brief story. I had a lot of friends and family, ask me like, well, what the hell happened to me in the story? And I said, man, that was just the job. That was a little part of the story. So, which it was. And then I want to show love to Jason Keaton again for coming out, and my boy Roderick for coming out. Man, I appreciate you guys. I really do. That was good stuff in those videos. If you haven't seen it yet, go check out the YouTube and check it out. So we're going to get back to more my life and kind of down to earth, bring it back down home. We want to put a message out there to inspire people. And, we're going to talk about So anyway, long story short, I decided to go right for the gusto and bring in one of my heroes in life, and one of the people that I look up to and admire the most in life, and someone that's probably by far been through more obstacles and had to overcome more than I ever did in my lifetime. And I'm proud of what I did, and I know I can share with people. But, I'm bringing in a big hitter, a hero, and someone that has overcome everything in life. So you guys are going to get to meet my sister, Pookie, a.k.a. Jamie Hubbard, in the building.
Hey, happy to be here.
So, yeah, that's Pookie right there, everybody. So, but, yeah, I wanted to, starting off these things, like I've told other people, and you know this because I tell you about the podcast stuff. I'm not an expert at all, so sometimes these things don't flow right in the beginning, and I really don't care because I want it to try to be an open conversation.
Sure.
Or whatever we want it to be, really. But, man, I mean, we were crying on the way up here.
Yeah.
We were shook up just because we listened to a song because, I just don't even know where to begin. But, our mom, we lost our mom to addiction. We didn't even get to that stuff yet. So we can touch on that today because nobody knows her better than you and I together.
Sure.
And the story, but, the story of losing our mom over drugs. And, when I was young, Mom left me and my dad when I was just a little guy.
Yeah.
Mom's left you before.
Yeah.
A long time ago. We were never really the priority.
No.
And, we miss her. Obviously, it tears us up every day of our life at some, to some extent. But, we weren't the priority. And it's about people that can break those curses and stuff, right? That
For sure.
family and generational
curses, yeah.
And so I don't know anybody better to speak on that than you and me to backdoor you on that stuff. But, that's where we're at right now. So what are you thinking?
I mean, I guess just a little background of how I kind of grew up and Mom. And so some of the things I can remember was at about 8 years old, and in the 4th grade, I was already getting myself up and ready for school by myself because she would probably have been on a binge or maybe not come home or she's passed out. So pretty early, I had to grow up and be an adult, and kind of the roles were reversed to where, when Dad died, she got deep into the drugs, and I ended up being more of a parent than a kid. So we kind of reversed the roles. I never really knew what kind of person was going to walk in some days. Was she going to be singing and happy drunk, or was she going to be fighting somebody, or was she going to be sad and depressed? And so I had to learn to be the buffer of whoever walked through the door, which ultimately I think we go through hard things, but they help develop us. And so I think going through that gave me the ability to kind of deal with any situation. Anybody could walk through any door at any time, and I can kind of handle it because I was thrown into those kind of situations. So I think it's helped me in my work life, in my personal life. And I think everything's just a lesson. And sometimes God will allow us to go through hardships to stretch us and grow us and sharpen us into the adults He meant for us to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dang. So, yeah, I mean, just talk about folks that don't have anything to start with or any foundation.
Yeah.
And, you know, Mom taught us how to love and have fun with the most simple things in life. But, you know, there was no real foundation for us when it came to whether it was school or personal life or getting a job or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, everything was a party to Mom.
Yep.
And there was points in our life where we got sucked into that, obviously.
For sure.
I got sucked into it. Even that point that I was at the car wash kicking butt and I learned to make all that good money as a youngster.
Yeah.
And since I hadn't spent much time with Mom growing up, when I was able to get you guys to come to Texas one of the times, and I just decided to start being a drug dealer.
Yeah.
You know, and I was really, I had my head on straight. Even for not having an education, I was on the path of only doing good at work, never had any criminal history or anything.
Yeah.
My mom wasn't a part of my life, and then she comes back into my life, and a few years later, I'm locked up.
Yeah.
You know, and that was just a little window of my life and the impact she had. The loving impact, I'll always trade it. I'll go back to being locked up for that time with her, right?
Sure.
Obviously. So
For sure.
easily I'd do that, but just that short time in my life, the impact that it had on me, and but to think about how much longer of an impact it was on you and what you started with. And that's why I've always said that, you know, that you're my hero and that you have
you most definitely have always been my Superman. Ever since I was a little bitty girl, even going through those things with Mom, I always had you. You were kind of like that shining light, that beacon, like my brother. That's Superman right there. That's my Soupy.
Yep.
So,
No, and I tried, man. That's where there were so many times. I think I told you this the other day when there was something going on or whatever. But I never had left your side.
yeah.
Those years ago.
Yeah.
I came out there, you know, a couple times and moved you guys to Texas.
You did.
And I think I shared a little bit about how, you know, I always dreamed one day when I was going to make a lot of money and I finally found a job that paid a lot, that was going to fix you and Mom's problems.
Yeah.
Because, you know, my family from the mountains in Kentucky, where Pookie's from and where our family's from, they live in real deal poverty.
Absolutely.
Like stuff you see.
They still use outhouses.
Yeah.
Wash their clothes in the creek.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's addicted to drugs or on SSI, and that's what they're used to. That's what they know, and they're okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I would go visit and see that situation, I would obviously think that money could fix it.
Yeah.
And yeah, money could fix probably the outhouse stuff and a few things, physical things, but realizing after we tried bringing you and Mom in town a few times over the years, and it always ended up you guys going back and probably even worse condition and worse shape. Just showed I can make all the money in the world. I remember we got her a nice apartment. I got you guys a house and said the bills are paid, the groceries are paid.
Yeah.
And you think just magically folks that have addiction problems, things will get better.
Oh, no.
If you swoop in and take care of them.
We didn't have to pay for anything, so all the money was left for partying.
Yeah, exactly.
So sometimes, you know, enabling, you think you're saving, but you're enabling.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we tried that, and, you know, that didn't work out, even though I still wouldn't trade those times for anything. We had some of the greatest times of our lives, obviously. Absolutely. Even when people are doing horrible things to themselves or their bodies or to their loved ones, you can still, there's moments within there that are still the greatest times of your life, you know, and that's the thing is, that's why you can't cast everybody away completely that have these problems. You and I are living proof, you more so, living proof that no matter any of those things, that the cycle can be broken, you know.
It can most definitely be broken. I'm super blessed. I mean, just going back to what you said about not having a foundation, the goal in Kentucky where I grew up was basically to get high. I mean, you get high and you have a roof over your head and that's it. Nobody told me I needed credit, good credit, or how to build it. Nobody told me how to go interview for a job or even said I should get one. I guess the idea was I would follow suit and I would just get a crazy check or, live off the government and just be content like that. Nobody taught me how to adult to like in a healthy way.
Yeah.
I knew how to get high. I could weigh out a bag. I knew all these things, but not how to be a grown up.
Yeah.
And definitely not how to be a mom. I was a mom really early, at 17, so not having a real parental figure didn't help me very much to know how to be one. But what it did show me is what I didn't want to be. And I can take the good things too. Mom wasn't all, I mean, she had the biggest heart of anybody, like regardless of her addictions and her flaws, like that woman would do anything for anybody, give her last, feed everybody. And so I am grateful. I'm super grateful for all the lessons, the what not to do's and the how to loves. For sure.
It's crazy. Yeah, and it's harder. It's going to be harder to adult. It really is. That's where you have to find your joy to weigh out, because the commitment that single parents make, and even parents that are in relationships, that basically mostly moms, to be honest. Us dads, we do a lot, and especially single dads, we do a lot. And if you're raising your kids on your own as a single dad, then that puts you in the mom category for me.
Yeah, for sure.
But just to see, like I said, you're my hero for all the things you've overcome and done. But it's like just being a mom and taking care of kids and the work it takes to do that. And deal with the everyday stuff and the everyday struggle of going to work and making things happen at work and paying your bills and all of that stress. And sometimes, it'd be a lot easier for some people to just get high. Yeah. But, sometimes you forget taking the easy road out. It's not just impacting you and what you're doing to yourself physically but if there's family involved, finding that purpose with them where they're your motivation.
Absolutely.
And, so, it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
And it's nothing but the grace of God that I can sit here and say that even with all the stresses of life and there's a lot, but there's more good than there's bad, but there's a lot. I feel heavy a lot. Sometimes I feel like I carry the weight of the world on my shoulders. And I feel like that's okay, though, because I'm strong enough to do it. I feel like God, He doesn't put anything more on us than what we can handle. But by the grace of God, I don't have the urge to run back to a drug. I lost my family for a long time. I lost myself for a long time, and there's no high worth that. Yeah. So the solution is never running back to the drug, even though that's what's familiar to us. That's what we think makes us feel good, but that's temporary. That's not a fix. So what you have to do, though, is when you remove those drugs, when you remove those things that have been your crutch and have been your numbingness, you have to fill it with something. And for me, that's been God. It's been God and my family. So you can't just take something away that's been such a big part of your life and just have this empty void. You've got to put something good in there. Exercising has been amazing for me. But mostly, just God. God has a purpose. And I just want to fulfill whatever purpose He has for me. I feel like it's to break generational curses for my family, with one good decision at a time. Every time I don't get high, every time I don't scream in anger when I'm frustrated, every time I'm patient and kind, every time I walk through the church doors, I feel like I'm just breaking generational curses and leading by example.
Unbelievable stuff. So this coming up here was emotional for us.
Absolutely.
As soon as we threw on like a Jelly Roll song. So we got Faith and Miracle were in the truck driving up here with us. And, Faith wasn't feeling so good. Recently, she'd been just not feeling too good, so she wasn't feeling good. And I was even thinking like maybe we shouldn't come up here because she was going to ride with us. She wanted to watch and be in the studio, and I wanted her to. And then she was, she wasn't feeling good right before we came up here. So we had to literally make a decision, which I was feeling bad. We almost called the guys and was like, man, we got somebody real sick, or maybe it's just going to be Jake today. And so we had a little family huddle up at the office with Faith and Miracle and me and you, and just basically talked it out that I didn't want Faith, I wanted her to understand that I could do this any other time. I want her to feel good if we needed to go home or whatever. So whatever reason. And so It was a little stressful.
Yeah.
I didn't know, that's where the podcast thing, like, I feel selfish sometimes. Like, damn, is it the podcast? I love so much. She wants to come see it. It made me so happy.
Yeah.
And then she's not feeling good. So then I'm worrying about, dang, I don't know if she's going to be okay. And then I'm starting to overthink things.
Yep.
And
Well,
no matter
that's
how
how the
good.
devil works, though.
Yeah, that is how the devil works. The devil will get you to.
In your thoughts. It starts with the thoughts.
Yeah.
And he tries to keep things like this from happening.
Exactly.
Because every time I know your feet and my feet touch the ground, he's mad. He's big mad. He tries to attack us through our family, through our finances, through our work. I mean, when one doesn't work, he goes to the next. And, I could just tell him, get under my feet, because what's meant to be will always be. God's our victory. We've got victory. So
That's right.
He'll try to distract you with stuff like that.
Yeah. So what you're saying is like hell lost another one?
Hell, that's another one. I am free. Yes,
So-
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's what. So then this is how it goes. If you can open your mind a little bit, folks, when tough times come around, and because all of us, no matter how cool I think I am or how cool I think I am to give advice or try to motivate people, that it's a daily struggle to make decisions and cope with things that hit you, whether it's stress, depression, bills, or something as simple as this that became a little overwhelming. I want to make everybody happy. And what it ended up being, we got in the truck together as a family and rolled up here, and I realized it was just one of those life moments where I realized that's what life's all about.
Yeah.
It was the journey of coming up here.
Yeah.
Whether this filming comes out right, whether anyone watches it, whether the guys remembered to put record on this whole time, whether any of that happened, that ride up here for us.
To put a record, man.
Oh shoot, dude. That ride up here for us, that was a
that's
life.
what it's all about.
That was a life moment.
Yeah.
Because with Faith not feeling good, boy, she smiled and she was happy, and Miracle was in the back happy, and I was thinking that's when I think about Mom. Like, Faith was our mom. She was representing Mom on the trip up here. Because I was thinking to myself, like, when we left, and like, dang, what would Mom have done when we were jamming together? Like, well, we already know no matter somebody hurting, if somebody was shot, she would have brought the person, or if it was her, I'm fine, honey.
Okay,
and get me in. And so that's where it all hit. We're like, okay, you're not, there's going to be some aspect of your mom always around.
Always.
And just so happens Faith's carrying that hat
man.
today.
For sure.
And so it was meant to be, because, we wouldn't have been able to leave Mom behind if she was already set on coming.
Oh, she was coming.
And obviously, I still get nerves and stuff when I sit down and do this stuff.
Yeah.
I can get into a groove and stuff, but I get nerves. Whoop-de-doo. I'm not up here to be a professional. I felt like, when that happened in the truck and just thinking about that was the life moment, then I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm already happy with the podcast today, because that's what it's all about. And that's where, that helps me talk about stuff, because that's what I want to share with people, is that simple moment like that happened in the truck for us.
Yeah.
Where we were stressed over at the office and we were all we're wondering what to do. Well, one, we made a good decision to talk, because I was already dead set on, no, we're rescheduling. And then I said, no, we're not. And then you said, no, we're rescheduling. And that's it. And I was like, no, it's not. We're doing it. And then we didn't know. And then that's where I think we let Miracle or somebody decide. But it's those times, and then looking at it, that was the moment we were supposed to learn from, regardless of what happened up here.
Yeah.
So I just challenge people that are listening to us today, listening to this in their car or on a road trip or whatever you're doing to listen, is to take those moments that you may think are bad and disturbed your day, and think that maybe that's the moment that God was really trying to show you for the day. We get so caught up in the way things are supposed to look, the things we pray for, or how the podcast day was supposed to work out, right? We were supposed to rehearse. And I was going to check our wardrobes, and I was going to get my hair done and all that stuff. And we couldn't even get up here. We couldn't even get up here. And then we finally just got together and said, we're doing it. And I guess, like you said, I guess that devil didn't want to hear nothing out of us, especially together.
For sure. That's powerful stuff right there. He gets real scared when that happens. As he should.
Yeah. That's why. And we were, just so you know, too, is the car ride that got us emotional, too, is listening to one of our favorite guys, Jelly Roll's music, because we were talking about how people we've lost, I lost my best friend, Peyton, this past year to suicide, which ultimately was because of addiction, right? That's why he lost his life, of severe addiction. So I lost somebody I loved dearly, and then, of course, we lost Mom, and I've had other friends. I had a friend when we were younger who was my best friend growing up, Samantha Henry. Lost her when we were young.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget her. And it was addiction as well.
Yeah.
And we've lost other folks, but just recently we've lost, we lost Cleety recently. And that's where it's those little moments, if we can share with each other and try to break up some of that despair and some of that depression.
Yeah.
And cut through it, because at the end of the day, and life's tough out there for all of us, but there's some folks that are going through some really, really dark stuff that you can't comprehend unless you're in those shoes.
Absolutely. If you've not walked in the shoes, it's hard to understand. And the scarier part is that most of these people walk around with a smile on their face.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how are you doing? Good, great, everything's fine. And on the inside, they're dying. And too scared or too ashamed to ask for help, or it just gets so dark that they don't feel like there's any other way out. I like to think of myself as a walking testimony that, everybody has a different rock bottom, and I'm not going to say that one is worse than the other. I feel like if it's your rock bottom, it's your rock bottom. It's bad, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like I've been in some pretty low places, places that my kids or most people that know me couldn't even fathom. But to be alive, to be healthy, to be sober, to have just purchased my first home, to have my daughter, my family back. It's just, God is just so good if you'll just open up your heart, and if all you can say is just Jesus, He's just right there for you. If that's all you can mutter. I feel like if we start our day, because like you were saying, we were at the office and then Faith was kind of sick, and there was these things that we didn't plan on. But if you open your day up to whatever God has on your agenda, like, hey, whatever you have on my agenda, I'm ready to roll with it, then those inconveniences, they're easier to deal with. You just accept whatever the day throws at you, and you deal with it, and you roll with it.
What I want to tell people is like what we talked about, that the music that Jelly Roll artist makes. If you listen to his album, for those of you that have lost someone to addiction and they're already gone, and like our mom and our Cleety, you can hear them. They'll talk to you through those lyrics. You want to know what they were feeling, what they were going through, and the things that were on their heart and soul and mind. I'm telling you, listen. For those of us that haven't lost our loved ones yet, you might want to jam a little bit of that stuff.
For
You might want to just listen. You don't have to even like music, or let alone like the artist.
Yeah.
But you need to listen to those words if you want help in coping and understanding what someone with addiction is going through. And when we talk about addiction, remember, that could be heavy drugs. It could be alcohol. It can be anything that is altering the good you, taking you out of the good. Anything taking you away from God.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I really do, because I know that hurt and I know that pain, and I feel for my buddy Peyton's mom all the time, and I know she's still in pain, and she wants to help with a message up here too, and I'm going to let her help with a message up here about suicide. And so by all means, Tammy, you're going to be welcome to come and talk, whether we Zoom you in or we'll fly you in, whatever we need to do. So a mom losing her son, remember, I'm tore up over my best buddy being gone. Here's my, she's got to deal with that. And so if you want to hear, if it gives you some relief, and like it does to me, it kind of feels a little bit of the sadness when it comes to mom and other folks that we've lost. So that music's good stuff if you want to hear someone that's hurting and in pain.
Yeah.
And my hat's off to that dude. I have so much respect for his music. And, but yeah, that's good stuff. And so, yeah, it was an emotional ride up here. It was fun.
I think every time I look at Faith, it's just I'm so grateful that she's still here, because she dealt with her own battle with depression. My oldest daughter's had a really rough childhood, and a couple years ago it got really dark for her, to where she didn't think she could keep going, and she tried to end her life, and I am just so grateful that I came home when I did, and she told me she had swallowed a bottle of pills. And we were able to get her to the hospital, and She's here with us still today. So I couldn't imagine what it's like to be a parent to lose a child, but I am ever so grateful that I didn't have to find that out.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that there is hope and that we can get better, and that there's just enough love sometimes to love people back to wholeness. Yeah.
No, you're exactly right. No, Faithy has always been somebody that I remember when we lost Mom, and I went out there thinking I was going to be able to bring her home to Texas and rescue her, and went looking for her and stuff, and that didn't work out too well. So, you know, just what that young lady's been through and overcome.
Oh, my gosh.
Being transplanted from those mountains.
Yeah.
Thank God, finally got her home. And, yeah, just an amazing story. Our little Faith Gail.
Yeah, that's a survivor right there. She is her grandmother's granddaughter. Like, Mom is just, man, sometimes I just open her bedroom door and just look at her. I just like to open the door and look, and I just close it back.
Yeah, it's Mom reincarnated.
She is. She's Mom's energy, and that was Mom's heart as well. It makes me sad that she didn't get to meet Lincoln and Miracle sometimes, but I know they have angel. They have some angels watching over them, so that's a good feeling.
No, it is. No, and it is sad, and that's where, before I forget, I'm going to touch on that kind of stuff too. Is just that you don't have your mom or your dad around. No. They haven't been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Your dad, we lost with my stepdad Reggie, who loved me very much, and I loved him very much. Got me my first ever pair of Jordans.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
But lost him to health, and lost Mom too early over drugs.
Yeah.
So you've had nothing. That takes away grandparents that our kids can never have or see.
Yeah.
Of course, Reggie, there wasn't nothing Reggie could really do with the heart attack or whatnot. But Mom could have done something.
Yeah.
That's where my wife Ariel, she hasn't had her parents. Her dad's just a no-show, one of those bum guys that just has a bunch of kids and doesn't take care of them and whatnot. So never been in her life. Lost her mom early to cancer.
Yeah.
So no parents, that'll be grandparents. Lincoln doesn't have, and thank God we got my dad around.
Yeah.
So that's where if you can make a change right now, right, to don't take the grandparents away from these babies, okay? Yeah. Don't take the moms and dads away from even us 30, 40, 50-year-old people want their moms and dads around, right? Man, we all know that.
I need a mom hug like daily.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you're out there and you still are a mom or a dad and you're blessed by God to be a mom or a dad today, get your head out your ASS and figure out what you need to do. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, there is so much death and despair. Yeah. You want to start taking kids' grandparents away, and you want to take moms and dads away. That's the whole stability that we all need. So we got to fight for that. So unless it's gone, unless your loved ones are in heaven, or you're on your deathbed today, and it may be too late.
You have an opportunity to change. It's never too late. You're never too far gone. No. There's nothing God can't pull you up out of. For sure. I know that to be true.
Yeah, so we got to keep more moms and dads and grandparents out there.
Yeah, brothers and sisters, all that as well. Like everybody, like people need you.
Yeah,
people need you.
I want to shine a light on you and other people like you. I want to shine a light on moms that don't got much to work with when they started off, and maybe still today. A lot of moms have zero support out there. And man, I just want to show love. I have so much respect for you and Ariel's sister Tiffany, and that category of just these women that have overcome just anything you could think. It'll blow your mind. We'll get into more detail. We're blessed to keep doing this because I've told the guys we want to set up a living room environment. We really want to get out of this whole being in here, which I'm thankful for the message. I only want someone to be inspired, someone to hear that it's okay to be broken, someone to hear something from you or me today. So I'm cool. But eventually we can relax. We can pull out a sofa. We can have more people come share and get into more detail because, there's just so much more detail. But at the end of the day, we're just hoping to touch somebody with something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm grateful to be here, just to even be able to talk to you and sit with you. I say I have and I have the life that I never ever imagined.
Yeah.
I never thought I would be in my own home with my entire family, watching Golden Girls, sipping tea, eating my snacks. I would go to work every day and work with my best friend, my brother, my superhero. Like, man, it's just, it's unimaginable, but it's real. It's fantastic. Like, just so grateful. God is so good, and that's the only reason.
Yeah.
I mean, it just all goes back to God.
No, it really does. So that's where, I mean, we are blessed, man. We are so blessed with what we get to do all the time. We're blessed with our kiddos, blessed with our issues that we get that make us better. And, but yeah, who would have ever thought, you know, from me and mom chasing me with a gun around the house and me trying to break up a whole pound of potpourri or something. I forget what it was. Potpourri.
Potpourri is definitely potpourri.
You know, mom having crazy people come over that me and my buddy B-Ron had to beat up a few times and deal with that. And then literally one time, good thing that house had the circular thing around the staircase.
Oh, man.
When she had that pistol, I was just fast.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Mom
nothing she could do.
Chasing Jake around
faster
the
than a
house in
speeding
circle.
bullet, literally. You know, that's why they call me Superman, is really because of that story. Faster than a speeding bullet, able to jump tall buildings. So yeah, we had some crazy stuff that we would have been okay, you know, with jobs at HEB or anything. And HEB, that's a great job. But I'm just saying we'd have been blessed ending up anywhere, really.
Absolutely.
In a warehouse or on the back of a trash truck.
Oh, man. Look.
We'd have been blessed from where it all began. Where you remember mom used to send you up to the payphone to call the police?
I was just going to say, when
but
y'all
it was
were
about a
chasing
20-minute
each other,
walk, so I always knew. She'd go, I'd say, all right. I'd go get my shoes, put them on, get a sandwich, you know, watch a little Maury.
Did we just tell our age, though? I had to walk to the payphone.
Girl, they know your age. Shoot, they just trying to figure out my age. They're like, ooh, who is this? Who is this man?
Pookie's little brother.
Who is this man? So
yeah, we've got some stories. It has been. I'm grateful for it all, though. Like, oh my gosh, I've always wished that there was kind of like a camera that just followed me around, because you can't make this stuff up. You really can't. You can't make this kind of stuff up.
What do you think that makes all of you like closer?
I definitely think our struggles make us closer.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, if we didn't, I mean, here's the thing. Mom is gone, but, and after my oldest daughter, Faith, and Cameron, there's really nobody to remember her, right? So I always try to tell stories about her, but I definitely feel like our struggles have made us so close and so bonded, and our ability to overcome.
At the end of the day, we're old school when it comes to a pledge and loyalty. You know, we're old school family. No matter what kind of mistakes we make to other people or we do to each other, or it really doesn't matter. Now, we don't mind coming down hard or speaking our side. We're not just going to take it. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, and you don't got a choice but to get close.
Yeah.
If you're blood, that's what you, especially when you got people that are in heaven looking down.
Yeah.
That are gone. And so it would just be a shame. And there's too many families. I think that the younger side of my family, I'm very proud to say we have done an amazing job of bringing our kids together.
For sure.
Because when I was a little boy, we were around our cousins every single day of our life.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember I didn't know any different than being around cousins.
Yeah.
Uncle Billy, Uncle Chester, that was what we did, right? And that's gone away.
Yeah.
That has gone away so much. And
sure.
I'm hoping it's coming back. I see it back in my family.
Oh, yeah.
If you take a look at our stuff and look up a picture of our family, you're going to see the kids. We got complimented. Oh, how did you like Florida? Oh, shoot. That was me who was in Florida. Never mind.
I wasn't invited.
Damn it.
Yeah. That's
I told
another
you I was gonna
story
use
for
that
another
one.
day.
That's a whole nother story.
Wasn't invited.
Yeah, that's where
as
we
he
get
says
past
how
all
close the family is.
Yeah, we're just tight as can be. We always leave one behind, but we're tight.
And
Us
it's
9 of us
me.
are tight. There's 12, but we got 9 of us tight as can be. Real tight. Man, what was I gonna say?
Florida.
Oh, Florida.
You got complimented.
Oh, we got because we're at the nice hotel in Fort Lauderdale Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. That comes natural. I can't help it. West Palm, Boynton Beach. No, we got complimented by so many couples that were up by the pool area and stuff because, of course, we got the bottle of champagne and the strawberries and the damn tacos and anything you could think of we had out there. It was going down. And, half the group was kids.
Yeah.
So it was so we had a few people that are like, we love how y'all have your kids there. And the kids are so cute. And we just basically, you could tell people were shocked.
Yeah.
Because it's couples. And you got a couple with a kid. And here we are with like 8 kids from 5 years old to 12 or something. And they're over there with the champagne, not drinking the champagne. But they had their, the bartenders got worked out. Because those pool bars, they make the cool drinks. And of course the kids want the virgin.
Yeah.
So, man, they were working those bartenders out with a virgin pina colada, strawberry daiquiris. But that's the stuff I dreamed about, and that's the stuff that motivates me.
Absolutely.
It's just a dream come true. I was looking around at all the little ones, but going back to keeping our kids together, man, that's key. Yeah. So, for Miguel's question, it goes back to like we made a pact. We've stayed together no matter what, some form or fashion.
Yeah.
And then a time come, everything happens for a reason. We have to pull each other up in life. Okay, sometimes whether it's at work or in a family, you're gonna have a family member that starts blazing a trail and paves a way, right? And if other people are willing to do their part, because you can't just bring people along for free rides, right?
Yeah.
But if you have a family member or a coworker or a business partner that can blaze a trail and you got your stuff together, then that person should look back and reach his or her hand out and grab you up. And so I'm another thing that's a dream come true for me is to be able to have the ability a couple years ago when I know you were slaving at the hotels.
Yeah.
And I'd asked you for a few years. And also, keep in mind, I was sitting over at a little bitty storage center by myself. So it wasn't like I was holding out on hiring. I was in a little bitty storage center in the office. Well, I say by myself. I wasn't by myself. I was with TJ.
TJ
since the beginning. Yeah. TJ's been there. But it was me and TJ in the little bitty storage office over there together. And that's where once I got a feeling that, there was enough work to do or something, whatever the heck it was just the time. But when I reached out to bring you over there, and then you had to sit in the little bitty storage for a little while.
I did.
Even though it paid a little more than the previous job and stuff like that. Gave you a little more freedom. But then you had the test of, we had like nothing to do most of the time. Yeah. So even though you had a little more freedom, this, that, and the other, it's tough when someone's used to working hard and doing a good job at work. You had to overcome like, what the heck are we doing? So even that wasn't a slam dunk where you came over and like, oh, this is the world's greatest job for the rest of my life. There was challenges where it'd have been easy for you to say, hey, I love you, brother, and I know you're paying me a little more, and I know there's a big future, but I need to stay busy, and I need to go do overtime, but you stuck it through, and then now here we are today where you can't get your stuff done because there's so much of it.
Don't do that. I get my stuff
No, she gets her stuff done.
I get my stuff done.
She gets
like
it
twice
done.
a week I get it done. It's
She
fine.
gets it done. But now we are blessed beyond words. We are going to continue to bless other people.
Let's go.
We're going to take any information we can pass along to people, we're going to share it. We're an open book to people. We do things actively at work to help people. You know that.
Yes.
I don't know if I told y'all, remind y'all, Pookie basically runs the show at the company. This company is a sophisticated organization. We are the leanest, meanest, cleanest machine in the foundation repair industry.
Yeah, for
and she's the one behind the curtain like the Wizard of Oz making it all happen, except not short and green, just short.
Just short.
It was a lot about faith today.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean faith as in your daughter.
Yeah.
And my niece.
And Miracle.
Also. Yeah, faith's a miracle, and miracles of faith.
Faith
and so
they're both your nieces.
Right now, Faith needs us to, Faith needs our encouragement because she's just amazingly talented, obviously beautiful, and she's got to just realize that we all go through those things, that sometimes we beat ourselves up.
Yeah.
We go through stuff where we don't feel good physically, we don't feel good mentally.
Absolutely.
Some vice versa, one causes the other.
Yeah.
And so I just want to make sure Faithy knows how much we love you. You're our hero. You always have been. I told you guys how your mom's my hero, right? You're our hero. We look up to you. And it's
Absolutely.
okay to be imperfect. It's okay to not feel good because
Yeah.
there's more to it. There's more of a purpose.
Absolutely.
Okay? So we're your number one fans.
That's
The
that's
three
for sure.
people watching this show are your number one fans.
Yeah.
You know, our 3 loyal viewers out there.
Yeah. I
They
don't,
love you too.
I don't know anybody who, and I'm sure there's plenty, but me personally has overcome more in their short life than Faith. She's definitely somebody to look up to. I mean, the strongest person.
Yeah.
Just she's taken blow after blow, and she's always come out on top.
Yeah.
So she's an amazing human being.
Yeah, and that's where you get your future leaders from.
Absolutely.
To be honest, not future politicians. I didn't say that because that doesn't. That's a whole different thing. I'm talking about your future leaders.
Yeah.
Your community leaders, your church leaders. Your family leaders, the people that everyone looks up to.
Yeah.
Are those of us that are out there that have been beat down the most.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is we beat ourselves down. Remember, this show isn't about making excuses.
Yeah.
Because remember, one of the other names is the excuse killers, the
Yeah.
uncastables, the done buns, the sons. I mean, we got so many names. We'll figure it out one day. Right now, it's just a Godfrey something caster thingy. But yeah, we were saying
taking
something real cool there at the
Taking
end.
responsibility.
Yeah.
You can't make excuses. We don't
Yeah,
do
we
excuses.
don't do excuses.
We don't do it.
We don't do it here, so we're not giving you excuses.
No.
But we are telling you that you beat yourself down more than the world beat you up.
Oh, yeah.
To believe it or not. So don't make an excuse.
Yeah.
And anyway, what you got over there, DJ?
What allows you, to go past those adversity moments in your life?
Let me jump first because
Go
I'll
ahead.
forget. You already know.
Go ahead.
No, I think that being in church is going to be a constant that needs to be in your life. And church doesn't necessarily need to be a building, right? So
Yeah.
just having a close relationship to God, I recommend a good church. I recommend Hope City in
Yes.
Houston, Texas is who I recommend. But there's a lot of great churches out there. That is only going to create the environment in your body and in your soul that is going to protect you from most negativity and from you making the most bad decisions. So to answer your question, how do you get through those obstacles? Church is the foundation of it. I think for me personally, it goes back to my method because there's specific methods, and I like to share the methods. I've shared it with you before. When I go to stressing out, I really do go straight to thank you, Lord. That's what I start saying in my head, and whether I get woke up in my sleep, I start thanking. I say, thank you, Lord, because you just realize what you have. You start talking about, as long as I'm breathing, as long as I got my kids, and we forget that, or a lot. I try not to forget that. I'm not forgetting that. So when I do thank you, Lord, it's pretty much saying thank you, Lord, for my wife and my kids and a household and a company and food. And that's what I'm doing. But I keep it to thank you, Lord. My other technique, if that's not working for me and something's hitting heavy, is I go back to thinking about something really bad that happened to me before. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it's probably something really bad that I did to myself. Yeah. I'm not saying something really bad that, it just happened to me before. Bad things used to happen to me. No, bad things most likely happened to me because I did something wrong, right? Everybody has bad luck and things happen to them. And a lot of people have been hurt by other people that they shouldn't have been for nothing they did, but for me, I just always look back at those times and go, no, homeboy, you think this is tough?
Yeah.
Did you get through that thing
Absolutely.
years ago? Do you remember when you had nothing to eat? Do you remember when you didn't have $1? Do you remember when there's so many things for me? And that's what gets me over, Miguel, is that hump right there is I literally go back in time. And I'm aware of my surroundings as far as what kind of real pain other people are going through. Your kid's got a cold and you're stressing out, which I'll stress when Lincoln gets a cold. Not take it to extreme, but I'll get a little stressed out. And then you've got folks that are absolutely losing their child in hospitals today. So that also, I don't know, what's your thing?
Well, God first, always. Church, having a community. I think sometimes too we tend to, when we're going through things, it's important to have a village. Mm-hmm. Talk to somebody. Bounce off, and I don't mean anybody, because some people just want to hear to be nosy. Some people like to see you struggling.
Exactly.
So talking to somebody that you can trust, that can give you some actual good advice, maybe some grounding techniques, and just be like, and remind you too that you've made it through 100% of your worst days. Yeah. All of your worst days you made it through, and this too shall pass. Serving other people. When you get out of self and you help other people, then you're not hyper focused on those things that you're going through. And then you can remember to just be grateful. My kids are my biggest motivation for everything I do. I mean, literally everything I do is because I want them to have a mother or a person that they can look up to and be like, wow, that was a woman of God, and she was loving and she was kind, and she made it happen. Like, no matter what, we had food and we had this, and yeah, today wasn't great, but we kept a good attitude and we loved each other. And so, yeah, just positivity. Like, at the end of the day, worship music. If like, you can't really, man, you put that worship music on and the Holy Spirit fills you, there's not too much you can't get through. So that's where I go.
Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. It's about 51 minutes long. You guys are doing amazing so far.
Heck yeah. It's awesome. Miracle, good job over there in the crowd.
Hey.
Okay, so we love everybody. We want everybody to have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Absolutely.
Have a wonderful week, a month. Love somebody. Step out and do something kind.
Yes. If you
love yourself, you know.
Yeah. If you can't find a good person, be a good person.
Done, bun, son. You know what I'm saying? Much love to everybody out there, man. So much more to come. I love my Pookie. Thank you for coming. That's done.
Done.